Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like your mouth was as dry as sandpaper? Your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. Swallowing feels uncomfortable. You immediately reach for a glass of water, take a few sips, and within minutes, everything seems normal again. So you tell yourself, I probably just didn't drink enough water yesterday. But what if that's not the real reason? What if that dry mouth isn't simply a minor inconvenience? What if it's one of the first warning signs your body has been trying to send you, day after day, without you realizing it? The truth is, while dehydration is certainly one possible cause, persistent morning dry mouth can sometimes point to something much deeper. It may be related to the way you breathe while you sleep, medications you take every day, changes in your blood sugar, or even a nighttime condition that silently affects millions of people and significantly increases the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. And here's what makes this even more surprising. Many people ignore this symptom for months or even years because it seems too small to matter. But our bodies often whisper before they scream. Sometimes, paying attention to a simple symptom like waking up with a dry mouth can help you recognize a health problem before it becomes much more serious. So in today's video, I'll walk you through 5 hidden causes of morning dry mouth, starting with the most common and ending with the one that surprises almost everyone. I'll also share practical steps you can take to help relieve dry mouth and explain when it's time to talk with your healthcare provider. Because by the end of this video, you'll know the difference between a dry mouth that's simply annoying and one that deserves medical attention. And trust me, you won't want to miss the final cause. It's often overlooked, yet it could have the biggest impact on your overall health. But before we begin, if you're new to Master of Anatomy, welcome. My name is Dr. Smith Amsterdam, and on this channel, we help adults over 60 stay healthier, stronger, and more independent through simple, evidence-informed health education. If that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss one of our weekly videos. Now, let's begin with the cause that most people immediately blame for dry mouth. While it's certainly common, the full story might surprise you. Cause number 5. Dehydration, the most obvious cause, but not always the right one. When most people wake up with a dry mouth, there's one explanation that immediately comes to mind. I must be dehydrated. And to be fair, sometimes that's exactly what's happening. Your body depends on water to produce saliva. Saliva isn't just there to keep your mouth comfortable. It helps protect your teeth, washes away bacteria, aids digestion, and makes it easier to chew and swallow food. When your body doesn't have enough fluids, one of the first places you may notice the difference is inside your mouth. But here's something many people don't realize. By the time you actually wake up feeling thirsty or notice that your mouth is unusually dry, your body may have already been running low on fluids for several hours. And dehydration doesn't only happen because you forgot to drink enough water. It can also happen if you've been sweating more than usual, spending time in hot weather, exercising, experiencing vomiting or diarrhea, or drinking too much alcohol the evening before. Even too much caffeine can contribute in some people, especially if it replaces water rather than adding to your daily fluid intake. Older adults may be especially vulnerable, because the natural sensation of thirst tends to become less noticeable with age. In other words, your body may need water long before you actually feel thirsty. That's why some people unknowingly stay mildly dehydrated day after day. Besides a dry mouth, you might also notice symptoms such as darker colored urine, dry lips, headaches, fatigue, dizziness when standing up, or feeling unusually tired during the day. The good news is that if dehydration is the cause, the solution is often straightforward. instead of trying to drink several large glasses of water right before bed, which may leave you making frequent trips to the bathroom overnight, focus on staying well hydrated throughout the entire day. A good habit is to keep water nearby and sip regularly, rather than waiting until you're extremely thirsty. If your healthcare provider has asked you to limit your fluid intake because of conditions such as heart failure or kidney disease, be sure to follow their guidance instead of increasing fluids on your own. Many people notice a real improvement simply by making hydration a consistent daily habit. But here's where today's story takes an interesting turn. Thousands of people drink plenty of water every single day. They stay hydrated. Their urine is light in color. And yet, every morning, they still wake up with the same dry mouth. So if dehydration isn't always to blame, what else could be happening while you're asleep? The answer may surprise you, because the next hidden cause has nothing to do with how much water you drink. Instead, it has everything to do with how you breathe. Let's talk about the hidden nighttime habit that dries out your mouth without you even realizing it. Cause number 4. You're breathing through your mouth while you sleep. Imagine this for a moment. You go to bed feeling perfectly fine. You've had enough water throughout the day, your body is well hydrated, and you drift off to sleep expecting to wake up refreshed. But sometime during the night, your nose becomes blocked. Without even realizing it, your body switches from breathing through your nose to breathing through your mouth. Hour after hour, cool, dry air passes over the tissues inside your mouth. As that happens, moisture evaporates, saliva dries up, and by morning, your mouth feels dry, sticky, and uncomfortable. The surprising part? You may have absolutely no memory of breathing through your mouth. In fact, many people don't realize they do it until a spouse or family member points it out. So, what causes mouth breathing? One of the most common reasons is nasal congestion. Seasonal allergies, a common cold, sinus infections, or even a slightly crooked nasal septum can make it difficult to breathe through your nose. When your nose can't do its job, your mouth takes over. Sleeping on your back can also make mouth breathing more likely, especially if your jaw naturally falls open during the night. Some people even wake up with a sore throat, cracked lips, or bad breath, all because they've been breathing through their mouth for hours while asleep. If this sounds familiar, ask yourself these questions. Do you often wake up with chapped lips? Is your throat sore first thing in the morning but gets better as the day goes on? Has anyone ever told you that you sleep with your mouth open? Do you notice drool on your pillow when you wake up? If you answered yes to one or more of these questions, mouth breathing may be playing a role. The good news is that identifying the cause of your nasal blockage can often make a big difference. For some people, treating allergies, using saline nasal sprays as recommended, or addressing chronic nasal congestion with their healthcare provider helps restore normal nasal breathing. Simple changes like sleeping on your side instead of your back may also reduce mouth breathing for some individuals. But here's something you should know. If your mouth breathing is accompanied by loud snoring, gasping for air during sleep, or feeling exhausted even after a full night's rest, don't ignore those symptoms. We'll come back to that later because they may point to our number 1 hidden cause, and it's one that deserves serious attention. But before we get there, there's another reason millions of adults wake up with a dry mouth every morning. Ironically, it's something they're taking to improve their health. Let's open the medicine cabinet, because the next hidden cause could be one of your daily medications. Cause number 3. Your medications may be reducing your saliva. Now we're getting into a cause that surprises many people. Imagine going to your doctor because you want to improve your health. You receive a prescription, take your medication exactly as directed, and you're doing everything right. Then, a few weeks later, you begin waking up every morning with an uncomfortably dry mouth. You assume it's your age. You assume it's dehydration. You assume it'll go away on its own. But what if the medication that's helping one part of your body is also affecting another? The truth is, hundreds of medications can reduce saliva production, making dry mouth one of the most common medication side effects, especially in older adults who may take several medicines each day. Here's why. Many medications affect the nerves that stimulate your salivary glands. When those glands don't receive the normal signals to produce saliva, your mouth can become dry, particularly overnight when saliva production naturally slows down. This doesn't mean your medication is bad or that you should stop taking it. In many cases, the benefits of the medication far outweigh this side effect. Some of the medicines that can contribute to dry mouth include certain medications used for high blood pressure, allergies, depression and anxiety, overactive bladder, Parkinson's disease, some sleep medications, and muscle relaxants. If you take more than one medication, the effect can sometimes be even more noticeable. Besides waking up with a dry mouth, you may notice that it's harder to chew dry foods like crackers or bread. You may need to sip water more often while eating, or your mouth may feel sticky throughout the day. Over time, reduced saliva can also increase the risk of cavities, gum disease, bad breath, and oral infections because saliva plays an important role in protecting your teeth and gums. So, what should you do if you think your medication is causing your dry mouth? The first and most important step is never stop a prescribed medication on your own. Instead, speak with your healthcare provider or pharmacist. They may be able to review your medications, adjust the timing of a dose, recommend strategies to relieve dry mouth, or determine whether another treatment option is appropriate for you. In the meantime, staying hydrated, chewing sugar-free gum if it's appropriate for you, or using saliva substitutes recommended by your dental or medical professional may help relieve symptoms. Now, before we move on, I want you to think about something. What if you don't take any of these medications? You've been drinking enough water, and you're not breathing through your mouth while you sleep. Why are you still waking up with a dry mouth? This is where today's video becomes even more important. Because the next hidden cause doesn't just affect your mouth. It can affect your eyes, your kidneys, your nerves, and even your heart. Let's talk about how high blood sugar can quietly leave you waking up with a dry mouth long before many people realize what's happening. Cause number 2, high blood sugar. A warning sign you should never ignore. Now we've reached one of the most important causes on today's list. And if you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Because this next one has the potential to affect far more than just your mouth. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that your dry mouth is accompanied by an unusual thirst? You drink a glass of water, then another, yet your mouth still feels dry. No matter how much you drink, it never seems to be enough. If that sounds familiar, your body may be trying to tell you something important. One possible explanation is high blood sugar. Here's how it works. When blood sugar levels remain higher than normal, your kidneys work harder to remove the excess sugar from your bloodstream. To do that, they produce more urine. The more fluid your body loses through frequent urination, the more dehydrated you can become. And as your body loses water, saliva production may decrease, leaving your mouth feeling dry, especially when you wake up in the morning. For some people, dry mouth is one of the earliest symptoms they notice, but it rarely comes alone. Pay attention if your dry mouth is accompanied by any of these warning signs. You're thirstier than usual, even after drinking water. You find yourself waking up several times during the night to urinate. Your vision occasionally becomes blurry. You feel unusually tired, even after getting enough sleep. Small cuts or scrapes seem to take longer to heal. You've noticed unexplained weight loss or more frequent infections. These symptoms don't automatically mean you have diabetes, but they are good reasons to discuss your symptoms with your healthcare provider. A simple blood test can often help determine whether your blood sugar is in a healthy range. The encouraging news is that when elevated blood sugar is identified and managed appropriately, many people notice improvements not only in their energy and overall health, but also in symptoms such as persistent dry mouth. That's why it's so important not to dismiss this symptom if it keeps returning. Your mouth may be giving you an early clue that the rest of your body needs attention. But believe it or not, we've saved the most surprising cause for last. It affects millions of people around the world. Many have no idea they have it. It happens while they're asleep, and if it's left untreated, it may increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, irregular heart rhythms, stroke, and other serious health problems. If you've ever been told that you snore loudly, if you've ever woken up with headaches, or if you feel exhausted no matter how long you sleep, the final hidden cause could change the way you think about your mornings forever. Let's uncover the number one hidden reason you may be waking up with a dry mouth. Cause number 1. Sleep apnea. The hidden condition that often goes undiagnosed. We've finally reached the number one hidden cause. And if you've been experiencing dry mouth for weeks or even months, this is the section I want you to listen to very carefully. Imagine going to bed every night expecting your body to rest and recover. Instead, without you even knowing it, your breathing repeatedly slows down or stops for brief moments. Your brain senses that your oxygen level is dropping and quickly wakes you just enough to start breathing again. Most people don't remember these awakenings. They happen over and over throughout the night, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of times. The result? You wake up in the morning feeling as though you never slept at all. This condition is called sleep apnea, and it's far more common than many people realize. One of the reasons people with sleep apnea often wake up with a dry mouth is because they frequently breathe through their mouth during the night. Repeated episodes of mouth breathing, combined with disrupted sleep, can leave the mouth feeling extremely dry by morning. But dry mouth is only one piece of the puzzle. Many people with sleep apnea also experience loud, persistent snoring, gasping or choking during sleep, morning headaches, feeling sleepy during the day, difficulty concentrating or remembering things, irritability or mood changes, waking up several times during the night. The challenge is that these symptoms often develop gradually. People become so used to feeling tired that they assume it's simply part of getting older. It isn't. Healthy aging should not leave you exhausted every day. Here's why this condition deserves attention. When your breathing repeatedly stops during sleep, your body experiences repeated drops in oxygen levels. Over time, this places extra stress on your heart and blood vessels. Untreated sleep apnea has been linked to an increased risk of high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, abnormal heart rhythms, poor blood sugar control, daytime accidents caused by excessive sleepiness. Now, hearing this can sound frightening, but here's the encouraging news. Sleep apnea is a condition that can often be diagnosed and treated. If your healthcare provider suspects sleep apnea, they may recommend a sleep study to monitor your breathing while you sleep. Depending on the results, treatment might include lifestyle changes, sleeping position adjustments, oral appliances for some people, or a CPAP machine, which helps keep the airway open throughout the night. Many people who receive appropriate treatment say something remarkable. Not only does their dry mouth improve, they wake up feeling more refreshed. They have more energy during the day. Their concentration improves, and in some cases, their blood pressure becomes easier to manage as part of their overall treatment plan. That's why it's so important not to ignore persistent dry mouth, especially if it's accompanied by loud snoring, pauses in breathing during sleep noticed by a partner, morning headaches, or excessive daytime sleepiness. Sometimes, what seems like a small annoyance is actually your body's way of asking for help. Now that we've covered the 5 hidden causes, you might be wondering, what can I start doing tonight to reduce dry mouth and protect my health? The good news is that several simple habits may make a meaningful difference, and a few of them might surprise you. Let's go through them together. Now that you know the 5 hidden causes of waking up with a dry mouth, let's talk about something just as important. What can you actually do about it? The good news is that, depending on the cause, a few simple changes may help relieve your symptoms and improve your overall health. Let's go through 7 practical tips you can start using as early as tonight. 1. Stay hydrated throughout the day, not just before bed. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until bedtime to drink several glasses of water. Unfortunately, that often leads to multiple trips to the bathroom during the night, which can interrupt your sleep. Instead, try sipping water consistently throughout the day. Keeping your body well hydrated from morning to evening is generally much more effective than trying to catch up right before bed. If your doctor has advised you to limit fluids because of a medical condition, such as heart or kidney disease, follow their recommendations instead. 2. Avoid alcohol close to bedtime. Alcohol can dry out the mouth and may also worsen snoring and sleep apnea in some people by relaxing the muscles in the throat. If you regularly enjoy alcoholic drinks in the evening and wake up with a dry mouth, consider whether reducing or avoiding alcohol before bedtime makes a difference. You may be surprised by the improvement. 3. Keep your nose clear. If allergies, a cold, or chronic nasal congestion are forcing you to breathe through your mouth, talk with your healthcare provider about safe treatment options. Being able to breathe comfortably through your nose while sleeping may significantly reduce morning dry mouth. 4. Take good care of your mouth. A dry mouth allows bacteria to grow more easily. Brush your teeth twice a day with fluoride toothpaste, floss daily if you're able, and visit your dentist regularly. If your mouth stays dry for long periods, good oral hygiene becomes even more important because it helps reduce the risk of tooth decay and gum disease. 5. Review your medications. If your dry mouth began after starting a new medication, don't ignore the timing. Bring it up at your next medical appointment, or ask your pharmacist whether dry mouth is a known side effect. Remember, never stop taking a prescribed medication unless your healthcare provider tells you it's safe to do so. Sometimes, a simple adjustment in medication or timing can make a noticeable difference. 6. Pay attention to other symptoms. Dry mouth by itself isn't always a reason to worry. But if it's happening alongside excessive thirst, frequent urination, loud snoring, morning headaches, unexplained fatigue, or difficulty staying awake during the day, don't brush it aside. These symptoms may point to an underlying condition that deserves medical evaluation. The sooner it's identified, the sooner you can begin the right treatment. 7. Know when it's time to see a healthcare professional. If your dry mouth lasts for several weeks, keeps returning despite staying hydrated, makes it difficult to eat or swallow, or is accompanied by other concerning symptoms, it's time to schedule an appointment. Your healthcare provider can help determine whether the cause is dehydration, medication, diabetes, sleep apnea, or another medical condition. Remember, your body often gives subtle warning signs long before a serious illness develops. Listening to those signals doesn't mean assuming the worst. It means giving yourself the opportunity to find answers early. And that simple step can make all the difference. So, what have we learned today? Morning dry mouth isn't always just dry mouth. Sometimes it's caused by dehydration. Sometimes it's the result of mouth breathing. Sometimes it's a side effect of medication. Sometimes it's an early clue that your blood sugar needs attention. And sometimes it can be a sign of sleep apnea, a condition that many people don't realize they have. The key message is this: don't panic. But don't ignore it either. When your body repeatedly sends the same signal, it's worth paying attention. It may be one of the simplest ways your body asks you to take better care of your health. If you found today's video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend or family member who often wakes up with a dry mouth. You never know. This information could encourage someone to seek medical advice before a more serious problem develops. And if you enjoy practical, easy-to-understand health tips designed especially for adults over 60, be sure to subscribe to Senior Health Prime and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Finally, I'd love to hear from you. Do you ever wake up with a dry mouth? Which of today's 5 hidden causes do you think might apply to you? Share your experience in the comments below. I read as many of your comments as I can, and your story may help someone else who's going through the same thing. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.